Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Alt.tistic, the most retarded political social talk show on the internet. I am your host, Garrett. With me today, we got our co-host back, Davey, and my producer, Zach. How you boys doing?
We good until we figured out that the Freemasons ran most of Arkansas.
Yeah, we met maybe an hour ago to start recording, and then we just went down a rabbit hole of all the various Freemason lodges and other secret society
We
lodges that
encourage
populate
you.
like the three towns that we live in.
Google Freemason lodges, find out who those people are that run those, and then look into those people, and you'd be
There's some
surprised at
very
what you can
powerful
figure out.
people, yeah. The one that is in our hometown is currently run by the guy who took over for John Middleton at Middleton Heat and Air, which is a local company. But if you remember a few episodes back, we talked about how his suicide is maybe not what they say it is. Let's put it that way.
Because a man with a healthy family and a good job doesn't really exhibit signs of being suicidal.
Plus doesn't go all the way to into the middle of the location that he's never been to hang himself, but also shoot himself with a shotgun after he's died from being hung.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
you know, it's just saying. So yeah, that might be something fun to do in your spare time. Go look up Freemason lodges. Anyway, we're still in the midterm election cycle. What day is that? That's Tuesday, right? So
Yeah,
Super Tuesday.
to the day after we post this episode.
If it goes up on Monday, yes.
Yes.
If it goes up on Tuesday, no.
Okay. No, it'll go up on Monday. But yeah, so once again, let me remind you, make sure you know who you're voting for and what you're voting for. So we got a couple of political ads to kind of have fun with. We'll start with some from the left-leaning side, and then
Yuck.
there's one from the right that I haven't seen, but is it's been the catalyst for a very fun little, I don't know, a dispute, let's say. So we'll start with video 7. Got to turn up that
And I'm going to vote for the first time with my pop.
I'm so excited for her. It's the first time, the first vote. God love her.
We're on our way.
He's very
Are you
disappointed.
excited, Pop?
She's legal
Excited to be
now.
voting with you, honey.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
Well, now that I voted, it was a much easier experience than I thought it would be. It was very easy when I was in the voting booth. I really feel like I made a difference, you know? Everyone's voices matters no matter what our age is. And we got our triple thick black and white milkshakes to celebrate.
Here's the voting.
Cheers, Pop.
He goes, cheers.
Cheers, Pop. I don't like how he looks at young people.
Is that really his daughter, or is that just
It's
some
his
girl that he
granddaughter.
picked up?
Well, okay, fair. They say it's his granddaughter, allegedly. She doesn't seem like she's comfortable being
No.
there.
Her body language and the way that her voice sounds, she sounds like she's in
Mhm.
danger.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
I mean, when you're in the midst of P word president,
Well,
of course you're gonna be nervous.
I know. What was it? The Ashley Biden journal that was put out. Was it that girl that he showered with,
Well,
Was it?
or was it a different granddaughter?
now that's
or was it his
is that
daughter?
Hunter's daughter,
I don't know.
because Natalie. We know that Natalie and Hunter are brother and sister, and we know that they were intimate together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, this whole family is, yeah, I remember what you said. I can't remember the girl's name, but she was like, she showered with them and it was considered normal. And like, she always said she felt weird about it, but the rest of the family never questioned it.
Mm.
So it's,
Yeah, the Biden family's a little, a tad on the
No, it's Natalie that made that video.
pedo side.
so Natalie was the one. So that's his daughter, and his daughter and his son confirmed have been intimate together.
Yikes. So
That means that it
have
was
fun
before she
voting.
was 18, he was intimate with his own sister.
yeah,
Well,
make sure you're voting, people. Happy voting day.
Yeah, don't vote for these freaking weirdos.
I was
I think
I was intimate
Natalie's-
with my uncle, but
I think that's his granddaughter, not his.
yeah, no, it's his granddaughter.
Is his granddaughter?
Yeah,
So he slept with his own daughter.
I guess.
Hunter Biden slept with
Yeah.
his own daughter.
Unless
'Cause
it's
that's
Bo's.
when they released the pictures. It was Natalie and Hunter. That's what I remember everybody saying, Natalie and Hunter, and I'm like, that's your daughter, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, don't put your faith in politicians. Put it in Christ, because these people
Very
are. They're not ever what they seem.
No, her Bo is her.
So it's his
dad.
niece.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, it doesn't
I mean,
matter how you slice it.
It's all in the
gross.
family. They keep it in the family.
There's so many of those
Ugh.
weirdos, though. Just
I can't wait for Biden to not be in office via the whatever means that ends up happening, whether it's he gets voted out or he's old and he can't function as president anymore. Because I don't feel comfortable seeing him around young people. He has two modes. One mode is not knowing where the hell he's at and just utterly confused, or mode number two, he's around a young person and
Horny.
suddenly he's just like he goes all Dahmer on him.
his Viagra finally kicks in, and he's like,
Like, I swear, the only times I ever see Biden look lucid anymore is when he's around children, and that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. But we have some more fun ones. We have another one. Well, we have two more with politicians interacting with young people because we're trying to connect with them. That's the big push from the Democrats, I guess.
Connect.
We got video number 9.
Oh, I've seen this.
Oh, we might get copyright claims for this.
Oh, well, here.
Yeah,
We'll get rid of it now that we have all the information. But
yeah. So that
5,
was
4, 3. Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head all day long.
so it was a young Latina woman, and it said Texas woman wanting her rights or whatever. I don't know. And then Beto very awkwardly trying to imitate the dance, but in a more sensual way. like if you go back and look at it, like it doesn't seem like it's like awkward old man energy where he's like it's like look at the way he's dancing. Like the head down, like almost at the Kubrick angle, you know, like dude, what? Like,
Ready to fight for yeah. The only thing
pro-choice
that freaking weirdo is gonna do is literally send the state of Texas to want to kill its governor and secede from the United States of America.
bro.
Because Texans will not stand for this bullcrap.
Well, I don't get why he's because I think Beto has been continuously harping on the pro-choice thing.
Did you
And
say
that is-
Beto or pedo?
What's the difference? No, no. He's been harping on this, but it's very clearly not a winning issue. Even, like just generally in the U.S., but especially in Texas. I don't get why that is his main running platform.
Well, and this is just my honest opinion. These people are friends of the devil, and so they are openly pushing for the destruction and the killing of unborn children. And it's acceptable now because now you can twist it. The same thing with wanting to legalize weed. It's like, oh, it's it's medicinal. Blah, 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 blah. No, you want to legalize it so you can be high all the time. You don't have to worry about getting arrested.
Yeah,
It's the same thing here. They don't want to get in trouble for selling baby parts because they're stealing children from parents and having to dismember them and sell those baby parts and sacrifice those children. They would just much rather you do it on your own so they don't have to worry about doing it. I mean, that's why they're so upset about Roe v. Wade, is there's no more death to children.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to get theirs, I promise. Bunch of freaking losers.
Yeah. I watched Elijah Schaefer's late night streams a couple days ago, and he showed the opening scene of the new episode from the new season of New Amsterdam on NBC, and it was all these the main characters, I'm presuming, like looking super devastated, and like it's serious music, and they're like, there's someone crying, someone like dramatically running down the sidewalk, and then it goes to the hospital, and all the main characters gather together and just look at themselves like, oh no, and then they look at the TV, and it's Roe v. Wade gets overturned. It's like the super serious scene, and then it just ends with that shot, and I just died laughing watching it.
Like if you are for Roe v. Wade, you're the problem with this country.
Mhm.
Because if you want to kill kids, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like try, because I promise you, you're done. I mean, all this evil crap that you believe, all like if you're dumb enough to keep voting for these people, you're dumb enough to suffer the consequences when those times come to be reprimanded, because
Yeah.
you're going to be held accountable for your actions,
Yeah,
whether by man or by God. Fingers crossed, you don't run into me, 'cause I'm gonna have some fun, buddy.
Oh man, yeah. No, not only was it bad law, it just it's evil. You know, like it's literally state enforced. Not state enforced. It's literally the federal government saying you cannot stop someone from killing their child. And I mean, obviously wrong and evil. Oh, Davey's getting a phone call.
It's the big boss man calling me on a Sunday.
Oh,
I ain't
no.
answering that. I got crap to do, dog.
Yep. You always love it. Okay, we got one more ad for you. Video number 10.
Let's go.
So this is John Fetterman limping for whatever reason.
Fetterman,
This little
Mr. Fetterman,
I think he's a black kid.
you need any help?
I'm running for the U.S. Senate, kid.
He's wearing a Steelers jersey too.
You're running for Senate?
Sure.
I don't think
Where
this
in
kid's a
the city?
professional actor either. I think they literally just pulled him off the side of the street and said, "Hey kid, you wanna
Hey, kid.
you wanna be in the
I just
pictures?"
want you to know I'd vote for you.
Hey, thanks, kid.
You want a drink?
Oh my God, I
Really,
cannot
you
with
can
this
have it.
guy.
Okay.
Bro,
Oh
man's
my
got
God.
Fetterman branded Coke. Bro, like this
This
feels
is
like
the
a
Mean
Coke
Joe Green.
commercial.
It is. That's what it is. They
That's what
based
it
it off
is.
of a Coke commercial.
my
How has this not been
gosh.
copyrighted. This is
What
Mean.
the
Just look it
heck?
up.
He drank the whole
Mean
thing.
Joe Green Coke commercial. And watch, hey kid, and he throws him the. Yes. What the crap? No.
What the?
That's my hot.
What the crap,
Boo.
dude?
You are not Mean Joe Green, you dyslexic, autistic
I
loser.
did not know that was a Coke commercial, but I was like, this feels like a Coke commercial, except if it was directed by someone who put
Directed
videos
by-
on the hub.
That's what, so like Mean Joe Green's in the tunnel getting ready to run out and play in the Super Bowl,
Mm.
and the kid's like, "Mr. Green, will you want a Coke?" And he's like, "Thanks, kid," and he drinks the Coke, and then he like is walking out, and then he had this towel on his shoulder, and he said, "Hey, kid," and turns around and he throws in the jersey. In what freaking world does that make any sense to put in a political ad? Like how one?
What's the context of that? Like John
Why?
Fetterman walking down the hallway of his apartment with his campaign
Was he just
shirt.
walking around that school for fun? Did he just get done talking to that class, or is he the freaking weirdo that they had to kick off campus because he was sniffing little girls' underwear in the locker room?
That's why he was limping.
He got the
Security
crap
beat
beat
him
out
up.
of him. It's our job to make the first part of that ad video now. Like, and then we have to splice them together. When it hits that one, it's like he's getting out of the room that was right there to the left. And we had just gotten done beating the absolute crap out of him for being a pedophile. That would be fun.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, man.
Did Joe Green play for the Steelers?
Yeah.
Okay, that might, I don't know, that might be why they.
Why is it a Troy Polamalu jersey? I don't know.
Clearly, Fetterman's team doesn't know Pittsburgh. I guess.
They don't know the commercial because the
Yeah.
guy who was wearing the jersey was the guy, not the kid. The kid was just like a poor kid. Like it was from like the 60s and 70s. It was supposed
Yeah.
to represent like, you know, the people who are big time seeing everybody who's on a small scale, realizing that, you know, remembering where they're from.
Mm.
It had a good message to it. And then this freaking weirdo took over.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why Fetterman is still in the race at all. I mean, he's just another Biden waiting to happen. It's no bueno.
It'd be pretty funny if he did make it in the office, just so he would stay relevant enough for us to continue to talk about him on this podcast. Make
That is
fun of
very
him.
true. Like, I
we
mean,
should have him on. Speaking of the devil,
yes. Do you think we're gonna have a red wave? Or what I'm
It
hearing
might.
now, the people are starting to call it a red tsunami or even a red wedding.
well,
If you've seen Game of Thrones.
there's gonna be a lot of Republicans who get elected. The problem is, are they real or are they fake?
Yeah.
And because Arkansas is gonna go red. Newsflash: Sarah Huckabee and French Hill are gonna win. Breaking news: they're both crap. Like
They're
neither
both
one of them are
absolute
any good.
retards.
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, the only way we can get back to where we were is if we read the Second Amendment to its fullest, because there's a very key part in the second part of the Second Amendment. Because the government is a tyranny right now. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat in office. That's how it's going to be. Because the people who run this country are not the people who are elected. It's Hollywood. It's Big Pharma. And that's what worries me about Trump, is because I love Johnson & Johnson. And it's like everywhere you look.
And who runs those industries?
Yeah. Everywhere you look, there is something with somebody who is fishy.
Yeah.
And the problem is, there's one person who could fix it, obviously, and it's Jesus.
Mhm.
But we need to have people who are focused on that truth and on that knowledge. And we don't have anybody like that right now. That's what's terrifying, is we know that God can get us out of this predicament, but we may not have that opportunity because he might come back. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, how much worse does it have to get before God's like, there's no more kids that are going to be raped. There's no more women that are going to be raped. We're not going to have any more war. We're not going to have any more senseless crime. I mean, you got people who kill people just for the fact that they have a pair of shoes on that they want to take home.
I mean, you look at all of the random assault videos from big cities, New York City. I mean, just go a few minutes north to Little Rock. You get all this kind of thing, these kinds of things of certain people of a certain ethnic persuasion
See, I'm
committing assault, like just random assault. There was that video that went viral a while back of this little old Asian lady just walking into her apartment,
then
and this
bam.
this dude just comes in and freaking smacks her in the back of the head. There's another video that I saw that was this redhead girl just walking down the stairs. These two black guys walk by and just freaking punch her. And then she's lying on the ground and asking for help. And these two black guys walk out of their apartment, see her, and just step over and keep going. It's like, that's the state of our world right now.
See, I'm ready for the day that I go to the mall and I see this old lady get pushed or get hit, just so I can beat the crap out of somebody without fear of going to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, try me. Because I remember my grandpa stopped. He liked to ride his Harley. He rode it from Bella Vista to about Springdale. He stopped at this gas station to get gas. And this drunk dude pulls in, almost, takes my grandpa out. And my grandpa was like, hey, man, I watched the trailer, you almost got me. And then the guy pulled my grandpa off the bicycle and beat the crap out of him. And to this day, I pray to God that I find that man so I can just have a little word with him.
Yeah.
Because it's personal, yeah, but at the same time, now I'm like, I want to be the person who stands up for somebody's grandpa because they don't live there. They weren't there at that time.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And the best advice I've ever gotten in my life came out of that situation. And my grandpa told me it's not about what that guy did to me. He said it's about the fact that I had something horrible happen to me. Mind you, he just literally the day before had gotten diagnosed with prostate cancer a second time. And he left there and went home. And he said everything else after that didn't matter. He was happy. He said it's not about that bad situation. It's about, can you keep your happiness even though you go through something bad?
Mhm.
And every day I think about that, because now it's like, I'm not going to let Fetterman or Biden take this happiness from me. I'm going to use this as fuel, because if I internalize it, then by the time I'm in a position where I can do something about it, I'm going to say, you thought we forgot what you did to us for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's about time these people pay for it.
Yeah. They want amnesty, and we should not give it to them.
I do not oblige.
Yeah. We're definitely in a society in which the weak are being more and more actively preyed upon without any recourse, because those that aren't turning predators are just becoming apathetic. And it sucks and it's sad. I mean, this is what happens when we cultivate a society where, hey, just throw your parents into the old folks' home
That
the minute they like get hurt once, and just ignore them, right?
Do you think that it's more dangerous to have somebody who thinks that they are something they physically cannot be, or somebody who enables that thought process? Which one's more dangerous in your mind?
Those that enable it, because
Mm-hmm.
if we didn't have enablers, we'd still have a few people running around being like, "Oh, look at me, I'm a pretty lady." But the thing is, we just throw them in a mental institution. We wouldn't have to see them.
Well,
They
if-
wouldn't be interacting with our kids. They wouldn't be being invited to the White House. They wouldn't be promoted on social media. They would just go to a mental institution, talk to a shrink, work their stuff out, get out, and be right as rain.
It's like a kid. You got a kid who's walking down the toy aisle or past the toy aisle while their parents are grocery shopping, and they start crying and acting a fool. I got my butt whooped. They would, and I immediately after that I was done because the embarrassment, the pain, all this, and I stopped. I was done.
Yep.
And nowadays they don't do that. They're like, oh, and then they just
Yeah.
cry, and they either just go buy them a toy out of pity,
Yeah.
or that kid will walk around the store throwing a fit, screaming, crying, acting like a crazy person. And those people have grown up now,
Yeah.
getting everything they want.
Yep.
And so the parents, who in this case are the enabler, that's what happens. I mean,
Mhm.
you've got to stomp this nonsense out. And now we have a forest fire, and it's everywhere. Kids
Yep.
think that, I want to say it was Bryant, one of my buddies, she's a teacher in second or third grade. She had a student come up to her and say, I need a litter box in the classroom so I can go to the bathroom. It is
Straight up.
spread to Arkansas.
Oh my gosh.
And now I told her, I said, you need to figure out who those parents are, have a one-on-one conversation with them and say, if you don't get a hold of your kid, I'm going to. Because that kid needs to be bullied to no end until they realize that that thought process is stupid. I
Yeah.
don't care if it hurts their feelings. Good. You're
Mhm.
not a nut job. Don't be like these people on TV. You don't want to be them. They're freaking stupid.
Yeah.
It's so befuddling to me that parents are like, let them do whatever they want. Like, don't have kids. Like, call DHS on these people because they don't deserve to have. There's
Yeah.
plenty of good, hardworking men and women who physically can't have children that would care for that child mentally and physically. But no, now we have these retards raising retards, and now 3 of us are in a room.
Yeah, no. We definitely need to reinstill some semblance of normality into children's. We need to bring back bully culture because I feel like most people were made stronger for that. We need to reinforce physical punishment for wrongdoings because that's been lost, and there's no greater motivation than pain, right? That's why you give your dog a bop on the nose when it disobeys or something like that, right? As long as it's not excessive, it's fine, right? As long as you're not abusive towards your kid and beating them for whatever. But like, I was caught shoplifting once as a child, and they said, my dad looked at me and said, "You best give that back, or I'm gonna whoop you, and you're going to prison. I'm gonna call the cops on you." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll give back my my pack of Pokemon cards."
Like, I mean, what was it? In the medieval ages, if you stole something, you got your hand cut off.
Yeah.
Go back to that, and I guarantee you the first time that Fox News breaks a story that a man got his hand cut off because he tried to steal something from their store, you will never hear anybody stealing anything from that guy's store ever again. If you make it to where, oh, you know what? Pedophilia is illegal in this country, and if you have a problem with it, here's the noose.
Yeah.
And then you hang somebody on national television for doing something to a kid that you're not supposed to do, I would guarantee you, nope, I'm not doing that.
Joe Biden goes, oh, well, I don't want to get hung.
Like,
I like my neck more than I like the kids.
there's a reason that in the 1800s there weren't mass shootings is because kids brought guns to school. I mean, there's a reason that we've gotten so far from everything and everything has gone to crap. We've gotten far from God. We've gotten far from where we came from as a country. And now it's like, oh, how did this happen? Well, it's because our grandparents and our parents were weak individuals and didn't stand up for our rights. So now we have to.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks, Mom and Dad. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to the parents. We're gonna go back to the ad campaigns for a little bit. There was an ad from Mr. Ron DeSantis that Zach told me about right before we started recording. So he's gonna pull that up on the Twitters.
Yes.
The tweeters.
The tweeters. Mr. Musk owned Twitter.
Here, I'm gonna resize the thing to
Okay.
make it larger because there's no way to zoom in the video.
Well, while he's doing that.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
I just had to resize it on the thing.
Nice.
And on the 8th
Oh,
day,
okay. I've heard about this. I
God
didn't watch
looked
the whole
down on
thing.
his planned paradise and said, I need a protector. So God made a fighter. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, kiss his family goodbye, travel thousands of miles for no other reason than to serve the people, to save their jobs, their livelihoods, their liberty, their happiness. So God made a fighter. God said, I need someone to be strong, advocate truth in the midst of hysteria, someone who challenges conventional wisdom and isn't afraid to defend what he knows to be right and just. So God made a fighter. God said, I need somebody who will take the arrows, stand firm in the wake of unrelenting attacks, look a mother in the eyes and tell her that her child will be in school. She can keep her job, go to church, eat dinner with friends, and hold the hand of an aging parent taking their breath for the last time. So God made a fighter. God said, I need a family man. A man who would laugh and then sigh, and then reply with smiling eyes when his daughter says, she wants to spend her life doing what Dad does. So God made a fighter.
And the guy who's responsible for killing, 40 million kids with a vaccine is the one that's making fun of Ron DeSantis? Like, Donald Trump just needs to keep his mouth shut sometimes. There's a reason that, nobody likes him anymore, because he turned on his own people. He turned against us. And now all of a sudden we have somebody who has the balls to stand up for what we believe in as a country. Everybody wants to turn their back on him. Last time I checked, during the pandemic, Ron DeSantis was the one that kept his state open and stood up against all the bullcrap that was going on in this country. Trump didn't have the balls to do that. Trump said he was going to drain the swamp. What did he do? Nothing. He hasn't done any. Yeah, we had lower taxes, great, but we'd have low taxes under Ron DeSantis too. I don't understand what Trump's trying to get at here. He knows he's lost, and so he's pissed off. He's throwing a fit like a baby, and I'm so ready for somebody to come along and help Ron DeSantis out, because I'm not saying he's perfect, but it's the same thing that Mike Pence did for Trump, kept him from totally, I guess, blowing up. I liked some of his Twitter rants. I'm not the guy who's bashing him about Twitter. Like, okay, he did a 90% good job, but the 10% of stuff you messed up on, man, that's a big thing that you messed up with. You want to push vaccines and you want to push all this crap. That's something for me I will never be able to forgive any of these people for. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, but the only person during the pandemic that we could look to and say, you know what? That guy stood up for God and he stood up for his country. He doesn't have to be perfect, but damn, I don't think I've ever seen a more powerful political ad like that. Like, that was, it's true. God made people to fight. And are you going to fight, or are you going to sit on your hands? Are you going to stand up for what's right and even whenever it's not easy? Or are you just going to cower away and hide? And Trump hid. Trump said he doubled down and he said, no, it's okay. Like, these vaccines are good. No, they're not good. They're bad. And then what does he do? He brings Johnson & Johnson out. These people have lots of money. No, I don't care about their money. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just frustrating to see. It's just like that tweet that I read from Bryson Gray. The devil is winning in our party because we spend more time doing bullcrap like this on Twitter than we do sitting down and having a conversation, whether it's behind closed doors or not, and saying, hey, how can I help you out? Because if DeSantis and Trump ran together, name one other group or one other duo that could beat that, in office or on a political trail, because they're too busy. And I'm not saying it's all Trump's fault. DeSantis started it when he started firing shots at Trump about the vaccine, and he should have known that something like this was going to come back on him. But if they would just spend more time working together instead of having a pissing match like the other Democrats do, we wouldn't have these issues that we have. That's what's frustrating is I don't know. We don't have any leadership in our party. I mean, we don't have any leadership anywhere. And now we're stuck with these two guys who are battling it out to be the top of the conservative party. And it's like, if you guys would stop fighting for 15 minutes and work together, you would figure out we agree on 90% of stuff. The one thing they probably don't agree on is the vaccine, but I think Trump's just an old man about that. I think that it's one of the things that he was like, I'm responsible for this, and I want it to be a good thing, and he didn't want to let go of it. And he doesn't want to admit that it's bad because it's his quote-unquote baby, even though it's like, if you just say, look, that's all Fauci, you had nothing to do with that. It all goes away. I understand you had to push it because you're a president. I understand you had to push it for the media. But when you stepped out of office, you should have said, I wanted nothing to do with this. I was trying to help. This is bad. I reprimand myself. I step away. I wouldn't give two craps about Ron who. I'd still be wearing my MAGA hat everywhere I go. But, I mean, I'm not going to change my thoughts and my views and my beliefs just because this guy who's supposed to help us out decided that he was more important than we were. And that was the first time he's ever done anything like that. You can make a mistake or two, but that's a big mistake, is turning your back on most of the people who supported you and put you in that position that you're in. Sorry, that just kind of, that got me mad, man, because that's...
And I agree about the vaccine being a bad thing. I mean, but this also kind of forces Trump, if he runs against DeSantis, it makes him actually have to work for something. Because if DeSantis doesn't run and nobody else really runs, I mean, he gets the nomination no matter what. So if DeSantis runs, he's actually going to have to combat somebody who has a following. And if DeSantis runs on the vaccine thing, that's going to force Trump to say, actually, I was wrong, but I can make it better.
That's what, maybe that'll work out, but it shouldn't come to that. It should be, look, I'm an adult, you're an adult. How about you're the governor of one of the largest states in this country. I'm a former president of the United States. Why are you acting like 5-year-olds on a playground playing King of the Hill? I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but they're making it like, they're making it something that people have to look at, and it shouldn't be. It should be a conversation. It should be, hey, I like you. I like what you did. I like what you stand for. I like what you're about. Let me help you and let you help me. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't matter what.
And speaking of the dispute, we've got the video here. This is from a rally in Pennsylvania, and Trump had a big projector screen of the polling numbers for each person, and Trump himself was at 74%, and then DeSantis was like 10, and then everyone else was below that. And so he was pointing this all out, and then this is what he said.
Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%, Mike Pence at 7. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought. Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at...
That's it.
Did he get those numbers from his website too?
I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy the competition. And Trump's just kind of doing Trump with the whole Ron DeSanctimonious. I mean, that's what he does. He builds nicknames for people if they stick. That's kind of what allows him to tear them down. I mean, he did that with Sleepy Joe. He did that with Cocaine Mitch. Did he start Cocaine Mitch, or was that? I don't know. What do you call Ted Cruz? I know he called
Lion Ted.
Lion Ted. That's just what he does. That's how he is. So I don't view it as that big of a deal. In terms of that, granted, I didn't watch the whole rally, and I don't know how deep this feud goes. I just know I've heard about a little bit about it. I've been busy the past couple of days, so I haven't been able to look too much into it. All I will say is I still really like Trump. And I think DeSantis has done some good things in his state, but both of them have some big stains on them that make me raise an eyebrow. Obviously, Trump with the vaccine stuff, and how he handled COVID. Granted, a lot of that wasn't his idea, and that was Fauci and Birx, but he gave them the reins to do it, and that was a mistake, a very costly one. Whether you like it or not, it cost us the economy, it cost us lives, it cost us yeah, I mean, it cost a large amount of trust between people and the government. Granted, that's probably a good thing. Yeah. And I will say it did help expose some certain shills in Con Inc. that definitely are not working for us, like a certain Mr. Shapiro, but um, who finally, after a year and a half, admitted that he was wrong about the jabs. Took him that long after probably a large chunk of his audience died because they took it on his request after he called them dum-dums or whatever. He called them, what, morons?
Dopes.
Dopes. After calling them dopes. So they got doped up on the jab and then OD'd. Which, isn't funny, but just...
It's ironic.
It's ironic, yeah. And the fact that he finally comes out and admits it after a year and a half of just like, well... My wife is an actual doctor, so I know what I'm talking about.
See, I think that's the difference between being a Republican and being a conservative. Is a Republican cannot admit when they have messed up. A Republican will not admit that they are wrong. A conservative person will say, you know what, you're right, and let's work together and let's figure this out. But that's... Again, it goes back to we need more Christians in office than we do Republicans, because Republicans suck just as bad as Democrats do. Let's be honest. I mean, I would much rather have 50 Baptist preachers represent us as a country than have 50 Republicans represent us.
Yeah.
Because, well, those 50 pastors might have different political views, but they all know that Jesus is king. They all understand what the Bible says, and as long as they adhere to that, I could care less about the other stupid little crap that goes on. Tax here, tax there.
Yeah.
It's not as important as, oh hey, let's not kill children. Like some of these things are just more important than others.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like both candidates. Like I said, a decent amount. But DeSantis is currently he's got my suspicion raised a little bit. Like the ad itself, I mean, it's fine for what it is. Maybe a little like, oh, I'm a godsend, but
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. He's trying to say he's gonna fight for America, which is cool. Just some of his money sources are a little weird, and the fact that he's a big old Zionist makes me a little suspicious.
That is a little funny.
Yeah, I've become very anti-Zionist pilled over the past like year, kind of fully understanding what it is and what it entails. Because when I first heard about it, it was used as an attack, I believe, on Steven Crowder, and I was like, I don't know what that is, and I looked it up. And I was like, oh, I don't see what the big deal about being pro-Israel is. And now I've come to understand, like, oh, you fight for another country other than the one you're supposed to be, fighting for.
So would you say Zionists, it's Israel and then America?
Pretty much. That's not how they're gonna portray it.
Right, but that's the
generally truth. Zionism is that, where it's like they are willing to tear down our own country to build Israel up.
That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So
yeah, I wonder why Israel is our number one receiver of foreign aid.
So it's that has my suspicion raised, but I don't even know if he's gonna run yet. Like it seems certain enough, but he's also trying to commit himself to the governorship.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes, and maybe Trump is just seeing him because once again we're entering into the election cycle for 2024, so he's gonna have to ramp up the name calling and that kind of stuff. But
what's worrying me is if it's let's say it's not Ron DeSantis and it's not Trump. Who is it? Who else is there that has a big enough name to run for president that we know enough about? Because honestly, I think that a lot of politicians are like, nope, I'm not getting involved in this one.
Yeah.
Like they see what he's doing to Ron, and they're like, remember what happened when he ran in 2016 with Ted Cruz and Ben Carson? It was a crap fest with 26 different people on stage. You had 1 minute to talk about this. You didn't really know what anybody had to say about anything.
Yeah.
But what stood out was when he had that 1 minute, Trump hit home runs. Ding, 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 and it would stick out because he was being aggressive and he knew what he was doing. So what is he going to do if it's just him and DeSantis? There's nowhere for DeSantis to run. There's nowhere for Trump to run, and they have to face each other. I don't know if more good comes out of that than bad, but I really am just curious. I can't think of anybody else that would have a chance against those two or against Biden that's from the right.
I could probably think of a few that would run, but I don't think they would have a chance.
I know Asa said he's supposed to run, but that's laughable.
Yes. No way.
I kind of hope he does run just so Trump would annihilate him.
Yeah.
So he can
Like
get
Walmart bags, shut up.
Yeah. I'm relatively confident saying maybe Rand Paul might run again because it seems like
That makes
we
sense.
always have a Paul running.
Paul.
First his father and now him. Just I think they don't really ever have a chance, but at the very least they're getting a platform to kind of speak some truth into that.
Who was the Hispanic guy that ran?
Marco Rubio?
Didn't he switch over to Democrat or something like that?
No, he's still Republican, I believe.
Somebody who ran as president in 2016, I think, switched to Democrat. I can't remember who it was. It's kind of funny that happened because it's like, oh.
Oh, it was John, what's his face? I don't know. He was one of like the most forgettable people on this stage. I think I know who it is.
John
though.
Bozeman.
Well, let's be honest. Most Republicans are pretty much inaction Democrats. So,
Yep.
rhinos and Republican in name only. But we'll see where this goes. I mean, I'm all for a good feud. We've been covering Kanye for like 3 weeks now. So
We would have to live stream those debates. Just a heads up. We will be right here watching those, and we will live stream that crap because that's gonna be fun.
I guess you've heard it here. I'm gonna need a chair by the time that comes around.
No, you have to stand the whole
Oh,
time.
jeez.
Give the people what they want, Garrett.
But yeah, that's about all my thoughts on that. We'll see where it's going. I was gonna say though, that campaign ad did kind of remind me. Do you remember Trump's ad? It was like supposed to be an uplifting thing. I forget the exact details of it, but it was very encouraging. Where he was basically saying, I forget, it was right after Mar-a-Lago, the Mar-a-Lago raid, I believe, and he put out an ad that was basically just, hey, don't worry, guys. We're going forward. God's got us. I think he's definitely embraced God a little more after getting out of office. And I think his biggest mistake was ignorance. His first go around. I don't think he fully understood the extent to which the swamp extended.
Well, to be fair, yes, but I also think that he had a job that he wanted to do, and he was never really given a fair shake to do that because he would impeach him. Oh, he did this. Oh, Russia that. Oh, this. So he was constantly, and then the pandemic comes. So it's like in reality, he had like 7 days to drain the swamp because he always had a press conference. He's always doing this. Can't miss golf tournaments. But at the same time, I understand. I would be taking video game breaks daily because that job is stressful.
Yeah.
And people act like Obama didn't play golf. If you work all the time as president, you're gonna kill yourself because there
That's
will
just
be no.
generally for any job.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be working 24/7.
No.
That's how you burn out and you don't, and frankly, you just quit as a human being.
But I mean, maybe this will help out Trump because these past 4 years he wasn't in office. People have shown their true colors to him, I'm sure, because they don't treat him like he's not in the White House for them to be like, oh, Mr. President, what do you need? And now it is, who are the people who are calling me, in the past 4 years, not while I was in office? Who was there helping me when it was my lowest point?
Yeah.
Now he's got a little bit better of a view of everything.
Yeah, I think he was just unprepared going in. He was a little ignorant of how deep the swamp was. lest we forget, a lot of these people were his friends before, and suddenly now they're turning on him. People he thought were allies going in turned out to be enemies. He had to face the devil daily, and he was not spiritually prepared for that. So I think if he does come back, he's definitely going to have a steadier base and a clearer mind in terms of what's really going on, because he had to deal with it for 4 years. And now he probably has a better plan on how to tackle that than he did before.
I think.
Well,
oh, go ahead.
I also think he had never been to D.C. before he ran for president. He didn't know he didn't know the right people. I think he said that in an interview, that he didn't know the right people. But now, I think he said, now I know the right people. So I think he's saying, like, he knows what happened. He was a businessman. He was not a politician. He had never been to D.C. He didn't know the atmosphere of D.C. He didn't know, like, who to hire.
Yeah.
And all of that. But
bro was
now going in, he's like, all right, I know what's up. I know Jared Kushner was not my friend.
And his whole entire life, he has been helping people. He has had every single race of every country work for him. And not one time in his whole entire life had he been called a racist.
Yeah.
Until he announced he was running for president as a Republican. And I think that really, I think it mentally hurt him. I don't think that, I think it affected him, because for the first time in his life, people genuinely didn't like him because they really thought he was racist, and they have no idea who he is.
Thought he was like an evil dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's got to mess with your internal and your brain somehow, because, I mean, it's like when I'm at work and people say, well, you're just an ignorant conservative. It's like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't make me sad. It just kind of makes me question, like, sometimes, we'll be talking, like, it depends on who it is. If me and Kevin are having a conversation and I say something and he's like,
Guy from work.
that sounds kind of racist. Like when we talked about Rittenhouse, I talked to him about that for 2 months, and there were times when I thought, like, am I wrong? And I didn't ever say it out loud, but sometimes I was like, there's no way that I'm reading this wrong. Am I? I doubted myself, and that goes a long way, I think, when you're in a position where you're the one making those decisions. Maybe that impacted him in a way that he never really talked about it, because there's not a way to describe being called a racist when you're not. Like, it's unfair to him. He wasn't given a fair shake, and I think a lot of people who voted for Biden realized, A, he's racist, B, he's stupid, we need Trump back. And so I think a lot of people are going to, they're not going to have the same tone with him the second time around. Because when CNN and MSNBC start turning their backs on the sitting president, not to say that they're going to be nice to Trump, but I don't think they're going to give him as much crap the second time around, because they're like, yeah, I got more money in my pocket. I'm not getting robbed at every turn. The gas is cheaper. My kids aren't asking me for as much money all the time. There are benefits, even if you don't vote for Trump. Even if you did, there were benefits for you. And if you didn't vote for Biden, you're screwed, just like the people who are. And that's what sucks about voting for president, is you get the good with the bad even when you don't vote for it.
This is why democracy's great. Definitely with Trump. Just gonna wrap up my thoughts on this. I like literary and cinematic allegories, so I'm gonna basically, if you've seen the show Game of Thrones first season, or have read the book of Game of Thrones first book, and I'm the only nerd in the room, but Trump was kind of like Ned Stark going to DC.
Is he the guy that said winter is coming?
A lot of people did, but he was the one who first said it. Yeah,
cool.
The Sean Bean character. But in the book and in the show, Ned Stark was this guy who lived in Winterfell, never dealt with any of the politics of King's Landing, none of that. And one day he just gets a position in politics in King's Landing. He has to go, and he's altruistic. He has a good heart. He wants to do what's right, and he just assumes everyone else around him does. And he didn't know anyone there. So he goes there and tries to make deals with people and tries to figure out who's behind certain murders and find the truth behind what's going on. And it gets to a point where he gets backstabbed by the people he trusts. Some of the people he trusts just like say, look, I'm on your side, but I'm not going to help you in this situation because I'm looking out for me. Yeah, he learns no one in politics, no one in King's Landing is going to be there to help him, for altruistic reasons. No one there is for a good reason. They're all there for themselves. And so he gets beheaded for it. What happened with Trump was he announced he was running for office having altruistic reasons for running. Probably thinking he had friends there, people he could communicate and talk to. And instead, the minute he announced, he metaphorically got his head chopped off. He metaphorically got executed, but in a public sense and in a reputation sense, by the time he actually went to D.C., everyone was against him anyways, so it was just harder to wade through all of that resistance. So this time I think he will do better looking out, definitely not have any Jared Kushner in his ear. So hopefully it works out for him. I'll probably still be Team Trump by the time all this comes around in 2 years, but we'll see what happens with it. But
Yep.
I mean that's about it on that front.
I have a feeling that there's going to be somebody who comes out of the middle of nowhere and starts running. And I'm not saying it's the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they're going to be good or that they're going to be bad, but somebody is going to decide to run for president. And they may already be big name, but if not, they'll be big name. It's all theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of this is theater. And so this feels like the perfect time for them to introduce a new character into the fold, because it's been so dense and it's been so dull. Everything's been kind of mundane. Even though, we're back in a pandemic, nobody really cares that the government said we're back in a pandemic. Even though the government said now it's regulation for kids that want to go to public school to get the injection. That's ridiculous. Yeah, if you have kids, don't put them in public school or you're an idiot. Like, one, because public schools suck, and two, because the government runs public schools and the government sucks.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come out. I'm kind of curious to see who it is.
Well, I mean, there's no way they run Biden again.
No.
No.
And they're not going to run Kamala because that didn't go well.
No, her ratings are beneath the chart. They're not even totally gone.
I don't know, man. I mean, is it AOC? Is that do they make that leap to try and get people to vote for a young woman? Now, if I don't,
she's incredibly unlikable, though.
Yeah, but if I'm not, most people don't pay attention to politics. So you're telling me that if it came down to some guy who doesn't do anything political, he is completely apolitical, and he sees everything that's been going on about Trump for the past 10 years, and then he sees AOC, you're telling me that an 18-year-old boy is not going to vote for a lady that he could find attractive versus a guy that he's been told his whole entire life is a racist piece of crap? I don't think that she's a good option. Don't get me wrong. My point, I don't think she's hot either. Don't get me wrong. But I just think that they're going to try and manipulate the situation to benefit them somehow because, yeah, she's going to be a puppet. Don't get me, she has no ideals that are her own whatsoever. She's a bartender. That's all she'll ever be. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try and use some dashingly good-looking guy or some girl that's been involved with politics that considered to be good-looking, that's been on the cover of Vogue or whatever.
Well, I know Newsom's kind of in conversations a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a decent looking dude.
I mean, he's got a whole lot of support from one of the biggest states in America.
Guess who his aunt is?
Who?
Nancy Pelosi. That's her maiden name.
That's where he gets his looks.
Her maiden name is, I didn't know that until we talked about this at a Republican meeting. That's her nephew.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that seems possible. I mean, biggest state, one, not like by landmass, but by population, one of the biggest states in America. He's got connections to D.C.
Yeah.
And
now we know why he's a
not
good-looking guy,
he's
too.
not totally ugly.
Yeah.
That's how you get all the suburban white women, is you get someone like that dude.
How do you think Pelosi got elected in the first place? She wasn't half bad when she was young. And some
picture of her with JFK.
Yeah, she was probably one of the JFK gals. But yeah, no, I think Newsom's probably going to be in conversation and in talks, but they're definitely going to try to go for a younger person because I think most people are now wary of the older establishment Dems, and will be avoiding them from now on. But yeah, I'm very distracted right now because I keep getting updates on the there's like she wasn't half bad.
Hold on.
Are you kidding me? She looks like a mouse, dog.
Hold on.
Mice don't have
JFK,
No, look at
JFK is
JFK's
disinterested in her. He's like,
No.
damn, this bitch is ugly.
No, dude, he's not even looking at the camera though. Look at him.
bro. All
staring
eyes on
straight at
her.
her, and she's like, "What is going on?"
I
She's
don't know what I'm
scared.
doing.
He said, this is not Marilyn Monroe.
No, there's probably two big reasons he liked Nancy Pelosi.
No.
Two medium-sized reasons.
Bro, have you seen the pictures of her at the beach? What are you talking about, medium-sized?
Really?
I'm
Like,
not-
are you
haven't seen it?
serious?
I'm not putting that picture on the
No,
screen.
you're not.
I'm gonna Google it. I think
um,
if I type in Nancy Pelosi boobies, it'll pop up. You
Probably.
think I'll get something that I don't want to see? Nancy.
I'd open
turn
it.
safe search on. Oh my gosh. I'm very distracted right now because of the inner turmoil of Daily Wire. I keep getting alerts on my phone for that. Some fun times. Candace Owens clapping back
You're
at
not talking
boss Ben
about this
Shapiro.
crap, are you?
Yes.
You suck. I thought maybe I was gonna get lucky.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's gross.
Wait, was that on the screen?
No, it wasn't on the
Okay.
screen. Thankfully. No.
Speaker of the blouse.
We've completely fallen apart.
That's funny.
We've completely fallen apart.
Here, I forgot the tweets from the feud.
Oh boy. The family feud.
Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in on this.
Oh yeah. The Daily Wire feud.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh boy.
Nice and zoomed in.
Nice. So Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro probably going at it right now, which is fun. I can't read that. You might need to read that for me. So this all started from a tweet from Max Blumenthal.
There you go.
All right. Davey, you want to read it for me?
I got you. So Max Blumenthal says, "We white American Jews are living through a golden age of power, affluence, and safety. Acceptance of this welcome reality threatens the entire Zionist enterprise, from lobby fronts like the ADL to the State of Israel, because Zionism relies on Jewish insecurity to justify itself." Candace Owens says, You're about to get in a lot of trouble for stating this. Reminds me of when I said something similar about the NAACP and BLM way back when. When you disrupt the trauma economy and call out the nonprofits that benefit from it, you become their next target. And she's exactly right. But then Mr. Funny Looking Hat has something to say about it.
Well, here's the fun thing too. He doesn't quote tweet or retweet this. My
He
man
screenshotted it.
He didn't even have the balls to quote tweet it.
He
gave
got
her like a little
butthurt.
notification. Yeah,
He was upset. And he said, I think the ADL is...
that's not a good. I mean,
I think the ADL is a partisan heckling organization too, reaching Max Blumenthal, who spends his life covering Jew haters and stumping Israel's destruction. This makes the conversation significantly worse. Significantly worse. It's garbage.
You're garbage.
And I don't eat pork.
And then she responds with, I don't know who Max Blumenthal is, but I do know that you have my number and could have informed me in earnest. Real relationships should trump Twitter theater. Let's set a better example going forward.
I will 10 out of 10 always be on Candace Owens' side because of the things that she is. Now, okay, I'll say I don't have a reason to go against Candace Owens in this situation.
Yeah.
Because she is just all about truth. I mean, her documentary, it's about exposing the truth. She doesn't care black, white, brown, Jewish, Christian, Islam. She's out trying to get the truth. And if you can't accept the truth, even whenever it means that you've been doing something wrong, then you don't need to be in the position that you're in anymore. Ben Shapiro has been falling off ever since this whole Kanye thing's been going on, and it's because the truth is...
Dude, he
I don't-
fell off long before that.
Okay, well, I'm saying,
Yeah.
like he's really fallen off now. He's kind of exposed himself for what he really
The
is.
yarmulke's dropping.
And it's scary to see these people that once were very trusted conservative minds and conservative speakers, that now it's like the truth comes out about their religion being a front to make money, and it's like, whoops, sorry, I can't support this anymore because you just exposed me for who I am Don't double down. Be like, you know what? Yeah, we're penny pinchers that just don't understand how the real world works. I mean, look what you said. 2% of the American population is Jewish, but yet that 2% probably has more money than most of the black community has put together. How does that make any sense?
We're getting kicked off of YouTube for this. No, yeah. I mean, think also who is currently the biggest voices against
Charles Schwab.
no against I'm trying to figure out a way to tactfully put this so it can skirt. I'm gonna call them Jawas for right now. Who's the biggest voices against the Jawas in power? Black people. Yay. Kyrie, kind of. Candace
Kanye.
Owens, Jason Whitlock. Those are the biggest voices right now going ham on Twitter about this and calling them out. And anytime they do, it's their contemporaries, their Jawa contemporaries, and some of their white contemporaries are like, oh no, let's shut this down. We can't be talking like this, and kind of proving their point anyways, trying to shut them down. But yeah, it's interesting. I hope this exposes that there are still certain things Con Inc. aren't allowed to talk about. Because we like to think, oh well, we're the right wing and we have media that will promote anyone saying anything. We don't care what they think. This Candace Owens yay thing is kind of exposing that with Daily Wire. Mm-hmm. Currently, it was a couple nights ago on Elijah Schaefer's live stream where he kind of went in depth about how there are certain things you can't say when you're a part of Con Inc., when you're part of The Blaze, when you're part of Daily Wire, when you're part of Breitbart or PragerU. He was talking about how he said, like, if you say anything remotely positive about white people more than once a month, you get a call. Either from your company or there's other companies out there who call your company and say, we need to talk to this guy because you can't be hyping up white people all that much or, defending white
people are freaking awesome, man. Let me tell you right now. What have we done? We stole the invention of peanut butter. We stole the invention of
started
Hennessy.
America.
Yeah, we started America. We stole America. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro, we're just a bunch of thieves, to be honest.
But
Frankly,
we're better at it than anybody else.
Yeah, and okay, perfect example. It's not stereotypical to say that black people are good at stealing. It's white people. I'm tired of people taking that from us. And
Trying to
it's white
steal.
culture.
stealing our stealing.
Stealing is white culture.
It's our thing.
And you stealing something and then saying that your people are the stealers is culturally appropriating us actually being the good stealers. So stop it now. That's what all this crap sounds like. Like when I listen, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Who really cares who invented what? And why does it matter?
Well, it's
because
the whole light bulb debate. That whole thing
Yeah.
is just so retarded to me. It's like, oh well, Thomas Edison actually stole the invention from a black guy. You can light your houses now because of black people. It's like, no, the dude just created like a filament that Thomas Edison incorporated into his invention of a light bulb and make it work. That's not inventing the light bulb. But it's like you don't have to go back and retroactively try to make everything black or gay or whatever. And that's this whole mentality, you see it in Hollywood all the freaking time. Hey, here's a Dutch fairy tale about a mermaid. Make it black. This is now explicitly a black story. It's not, hey, we just, I recently watched that horrible Daredevil movie from 2003. Kingpin is traditionally white. They cast Michael Clark Duncan. He was a black dude, but he was good casting for it. And in any other promotion, did they say, look, we have a black man playing Kingpin? No.
Nope.
Maybe because it would be a little stereotypical having a black man play a master criminal, but they didn't promote it as such. They just said, we got Michael Clark Duncan because Michael Clark Duncan's awesome. And now it's, well, we gotta go back and reimagine everything for modern audiences. We're gonna go back with Tolkien and take Lord of the Rings and make it black and gay to reimagine it for modern audiences. It's like that no. We don't need to be going to the past and changing it so it fits the things that certain people imagine the world to be. We shouldn't be going back and going, well, actually, the light bulb was invented by a black dude. Actually, this entire sect of society was actually cultivated by gay people. There's that whole debate. I forget what exactly it was, but there's like certain hairstyles, or there's certain like theater type things, or clothes that people that are popular to wear now, and they're like, well, actually, that's super gay because back in the 70s, certain gay people wore it, and now if you wear it, that means you're actually secretly gay. And it's like, who cares? It's
Yeah.
just clothes. We don't. Why are you trying to retroactively make everything not white? Pretty much.
You don't see black athletes quitting the NFL or the NBA because it was invented by a white person. Because the only way that
money.
Yeah. I mean, you
and
don't see them
getting
thanking
child
anybody
slaves
about
to
it.
make their shoes.
Yeah. Like, you don't see LeBron James saying, hey, you know what? Shout out to the white people for inventing the game that I love. It's, where are you guys always getting on to black athletes? Well, black athletes wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the white guy that invented the sport that you play every single day for fun and make millions of dollars
The poor
doing.
white kids at a YMCA.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just, it's all about perception, and they try and twist it. And they don't want to be honest. I don't know anybody that is in any position of power currently that would not hesitate at the chance to twist the truth just a little bit to make themselves look better.
Yeah.
That's what's scary, because you got one guy who twisted a little bit, the next guy comes along, twists a little bit more, and then you look 40 years down the road and you end up with something that's completely different than what you started with.
Yeah.
And it's just because somebody came along and they were like, I want this to benefit me just a little bit. And
Yeah.
then, oh, no, I want it to benefit me a little bit. No.
Hmm.
It's just stupidity.
Yeah.
There's too many stupid people who have a voice that just need to keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
People
We're
like-
not saying you have to go all JLP, Jesse Lee Peterson, and be like, oh, I love white people. White people have done so much good things. Trump's my white savior. Like, you don't need to go that far.
Exactly.
Just like, don't denigrate white people while you're actively playing a sport that was created by them, benefiting from an industry that is run by them, mostly, and basically making money for them. Like, don't do that. If you truly hate white people and think that we're all that's wrong in the freaking world, quit your job at the NBA, Mr. LeBron James.
Like,
And don't recruit child slaves to make your shoes.
if we could go back to where people stop saying, I'm black, I'm white, I'm this. Race is not real. Ethnicity is real. There is traveling through space and time and shaping your culture and shaping the way that your people and experiences that you've had together. That is what separates people. It's the polis. It is not, the color of your skin does not define anything about you. And if you do let it, your problem, your fault. I don't let me being white mean anything to me. I don't give a crap. I could be an Asian, I could be black, and I would be saying the same exact thing. I'd be the same exact person, because it doesn't change anything.
What's the quote from Batman? It's not about who I am, but what I do that defines me. I mean, that's pretty much that's how it is, and people want to try to cram race into things. And like, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging facts or certain trends within certain cultures. I think that's perfectly fine. You want to talk about how in the white culture we're a little too pansy-ish in America. We're too afraid to say certain things without fear of getting in trouble. You want to talk about black culture in America?
You better be black.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, there's
Well, I'm
nothing
just
wrong
saying-
with talking about it. You know,
Well,
like, there's
if you're
nothing
white,
wrong.
you can't. That's the thing. If I'm a white guy and I go to a Black American history class, like Eminem did, they're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna call me stupid. They're gonna call me honky, and they're gonna say you don't know anything about it. Because in today's
You
world,
can't
in
learn.
America, you cannot be a white person and expect any type of normal thing to happen in your life whatsoever, because everybody has this skewed view of white people. You can't be like, you know what, Malcolm X was right. Because then when you say that, they're like, why do you think that Malcolm X is right? Well, because he said that the only thing scarier than a wolf in the woods when it's dark is the liberal white man. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you don't want to believe that. You don't want to believe when Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about all people, not black people having rights, but all people having the same rights. He wasn't putting black people on a pedestal. He was trying to make black people and white people the same. And everybody wants to say, well, Martin Luther King wanted more for black people. He wanted the same. He wanted the kids to be able to go to school together and not have to worry about the crap that we have to worry about
At least
currently.
that's what he preached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just it's frustrating to be a part of a culture that you cannot, like what you should be able to have a conversation about why are black men killing black men left, right, front, and center.
And why is it being promoted
Yeah.
in music that's specifically marketed towards black men?
Why do we have more kids that get arrested for selling not weed, but like meth and heroin? Kids
That
selling
reminds me-
hardcore drugs in the street.
Yeah. That reminds me of an article, Image 12. This was published this week by the North Star. Don't know what they are, but they're trying to go back and actively retcon the problems with the rap culture and rap industry and blame it on white teens.
Mac Miller never rapped about a gun, not once in his life. Eminem is the best rapper to ever live, and that makes black people mad because he's white. And then
Besides that, who else?
Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys were rap, but they weren't.
They were kind of hip hop
Yes.
funk rap. Like
They weren't violent at all.
No,
they didn't rap. They said "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," and that was
yeah.
about being an insomniac.
They were a group of awkward dudes who were just kind of having fun, and that's what made
Yeah.
them endearing. But you got you've got guys like what are some Puff Daddy? You got
He's black.
Well, no, I'm talking about black rappers.
oh.
Yeah, you got guys like Puff Daddy or
Migos. Who is Migos raps about killing people. NBA Youngboy raps about killing people. Lil Uzi Vert raps about killing people. Drake raps about killing people. Lil Wayne raps about killing people. You can go back to Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z. You got, I mean, the list literally goes on.
It's all I put a cap in his ass, or I pulled out my gat. I buried the drugs. I
took your girlfriend and we did this, that, and then I came to your house and I killed you. And you're
Yeah.
like, bro. Like, they talk about robbing people. They talk about stealing stuff from people. They talk about killing people. They talk about hitting a lick. They talk about this. They talk about that. And then you wonder why these kids grow up and they want to kill people. They want to rob people, and they don't see a problem with it. It's because what you get in, you must get out. And when all you listen to is somebody saying, kill, kill, steal, kill, you're going to steal, kill. But if you listen to music that's like, hey, love Jesus. Hey, love your neighbor as yourself. Hey, don't lie. Guess what? You're not going to lie. You're not going to steal. You're not going to cheat. It's too simple, though. But yeah, let's blame white people for everything that's wrong with this country. Don't actually blame the black people who are making this god-awful insanity music that makes people want to go nuts.
or the Jawas that fund them to make it.
Exactly. It's the white people's fault.
Mhm.
It's the single mom at home's fault for letting her black kids listen to music. How dare they blame? She's at work. How about you develop a culture where when you have a single mom, you have other men that step in and want to help. They don't show him, hey, this is how you make money. This is how you make cocaine. That's ridiculous. That's what happens in black communities.
That's why I appreciated. I forget his name. He was a rapper that at the very least towards the end of his life started trying to promote to change the rap game. Let me look it up real quick. I forget his name, but he was killed for it. Basically, he started up some like trying to think of the word, but he started up these organizations and these projects within his hometown, I think in LA, that was trying to get black people back into education, trying to help them curb their drug addiction. He was trying to go back into the community and make it better, essentially trying to get these black kids to stop killing each other, stop getting involved with drugs and gangs, and trying to put a positive impact in the community. And then he was killed for it.
Thankfully,
let me find his name.
Thankfully, in Bryant, Arkansas, we don't have this problem on a large scale like Chicago does. And so you see more often than not.
Nipsey Hussle.
Yep, that's who I thought it was, but I didn't want to steal your thunder from you.
Yeah, but like Nipsey, at the very least, even if he didn't start out, I've never listened to his music, but at the very least, towards that end, he was trying to make his hometown culture better. And he was killed for it, and it's just what it is.
It's similar to what Tupac would do. He didn't rap or talk about actively pursuing killing somebody. He would talk about what's happened to him. He would tell a story. Same thing with Nipsey. And so it's a lot easier for those people to reach their community because they're trying to show you, hey, I've been here and I get it, but there's ways to go about it.
They've been there, and then they're trying to go back and make it better. They're looking at it with this negative perception.
And so thankfully you have families, and I won't say his name, but we worked with him. He moved and he went to college up north of the state, and he comes back every once in a while. His family is such a good family, and in my mind, there's no difference between his family and my family. But the same probably couldn't be said if we were in Chicago. Just basically because they're black, because the culture would be different for them to grow up in. In Bryant, Arkansas, the black families and the white families have the same problems. We have the same issues because we're in the same community. In Chicago, the only reason it is just the black people is because all the white people got the hell out of there.
And then they were demonized for leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the white flight. It's like, no, they just don't want to be killed by a straight bullet from two gangs warring. Say what you will about Italian mobs, but they called it organized crime for a reason. At the very least,
They hit who they hit.
Yeah, they hit who they hit, and they wanted you to pay, and your business was fine. Everything ran smoothly as long as you paid up. And if you disrespected, it was just a single hit, bop, and then they left. Your family wasn't impacted. They made like explicitly sure the women and children were fine and left alone. It was just and taken care of. Even.
Yes, that's what I was. They would go as far as to make sure that kid had some way to make sure their future was secured.
Yeah, like say what you will, but at least they had decorum.
And my point is that I am blessed, and everybody who lives in this part of the state that we're in is blessed, because we don't have the same issues that other states do. You have racist white people and racist black people that live here, yes, but 90% of us say, hey, you know what? You're a good, hardworking family, and we work hard, and let's just, that's it. There is no racial divide here, but yet that's all you hear about on the news is, oh, you're not supposed to like them because they're black, and you're not supposed to like them because they're white.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. And they have the same exact education that I had. I'd argue that they're probably smarter than I am, IQ-wise, but I mean, I've never thought about it. It's never been something that I'm like, you know what? I wonder if he's okay. I wonder if he's struggling right now, because there's nothing that impacts him. He doesn't act like, oh, this gun violence is so bad and you're an evil person. No, we have a normal life. And that just proves you turn your freaking TV off and you go outside and you touch grass for 15 minutes. Your life's not that bad. I mean, unless you live in Chicago and there's no grass. Then, yeah.
Because it's all
covered in blood.
Yeah. Man, that was fun. We will.
Is that Floyd Mayweather?
Yep. What do you have pulled up?
He can't read.
What?
You didn't know that?
Well, why are you saying he can't read?
He literally can't read. Like,
He's illiterate.
50 Cent called him out and was like, "I'll donate $100,000 to this charity if you come on the Tonight Show and read one page out of the Harry Potter book." And then when he gets there, he was like, "I didn't think you could read one page of the Harry Potter book, so we got you this Dr. Seuss book." And he physically couldn't read it. He's tried to read. He can't read. Like, he's spent his whole life fighting, but he also probably has CTE. He's been hit in the head so many times. When you're that good at fighting, I don't care if you don't know what 2 + 2 is, bro. I'm not messing with you. I would never go to his face and be like, "You're stupid." Just because you can't read doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means that you can't read. Like, he can still talk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I also think it's funny that he's a grown man and he can't read Cat in the Hat. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yep, we can pull this up. Floyd Mayweather defending Kyrie.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Let's go.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh, no.
It's just gone.
They've already suspended it.
Floyd Mayweather just disappeared.
I've never seen Twitter on a laptop
It's
before.
just gone.
They probably deleted. Twitter was like, "How dare you?"
Well, that's not Twitter. This is Telegram.
Oh, I was wondering what that crap in the background. I just saw that
that's
and
Telegram.
the blue. It just looks like Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It got taken down.
Well,
Is
taken
it
out
on
from that one, but I got the original.
Yeah, from Uzi's planet?
Yes. Well,
Or whatever.
UZ.
Uzi? I don't know.
Ooh. Lil Uzi Vert.
Some guy on Telegram. I don't follow him, but I see reposts from him. You got it pulled up?
Yeah, I'm zooming in, so it's not so small.
Okay. So this is like just now.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Hello?
This is breaking news.
What's up? I know you're going through a lot. We had a chance to hang out in 2016 when you represented America, when you represented the red, white, and blue.
Hey.
You only want to be treated fair. I was going to post something on one of my social media pages, but I decided to do it the old school way and read it out to you because you're a great person, great father, great athlete, and you believe what you believe. America is the land of the free. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and supposedly freedom to choose. Never be controlled by money. I respect you for having some integrity and being your own man. A free mind makes its own choices. An enslaved mind follows the crowd. Stand for something or fall for anything. One man can lead a revolution to stand up and fight for what's right. One choice, one word, one action can change the world. It's crazy how people hate you for being a leader. I hope your actions encourage many others to stand up and say enough is enough. Respect to you, Kyrie.
Amen.
What a brother.
And he can read.
The lad. Yeah.
Yeah, I
What a
wonder how many
character
takes
arc.
that took. Because,
What a character.
good
He
lord.
learned how to read.
I mean, I'm sure after he got embarrassed on national television, he probably took a few
Yeah.
years to learn how to read.
Yeah. Good on him. Good on him. Well,
It's good to see people that are as profound in their aspect of life stand up for somebody else and not just sit on their hands and say, like what you said about hey, I'm going to sit this one out for personal reasons. I don't want to get involved. I don't want my name. He put everything on the line.
yeah.
That's what it's about. Whether you agree with Kyrie Irving or not, it's not about what he said. It is not about what he believes. It is about
Yeah.
the fact that you got to stand up for people's right to believe what they want to believe, even whenever you don't agree with it.
Mhm.
I don't agree with being a Muslim. I don't agree with being a Jew. But I will die for their right to worship and do whatever they want to do in this country, because that's how it's supposed to be. If God can give us free will and say, go do what you want, and then we'll talk about it when you die, why can't we do the same thing? I mean, why can't we say, hey, you know what? God gave me free will. He gave you free will. Why is it so difficult? What's so hard about people having an opinion? Like, it's just frustrating.
Because the opinion's based and more people and more people will go over to that and realize that the people in power are full of crap and are attending orgies every weekend
With children probably involved.
with most likely children and doing satanic sacrifices.
I
But
wouldn't doubt it.
you know,
People think that used to sound like something that a nut job would say. Like, if this is 2010 and we said that, we'd be in an insane asylum.
yeah,
The fact that those people weren't too far off is horrifying, because it's probably going to be worse. It usually is when you figure stuff
Yeah.
like that out.
yeah. I mean, taking into account stuff like Pizzagate or the Bohemian Grove,
Or Epstein Island.
Epstein Island, and the names on that flight log, and what
Yeah.
everyone on that list just kept on living normal lives. There was no investigation.
You cannot tell me it's not filled with liberal Democrats, because if it was any conservative,
it
they
pretty
would have
much is.
leaked it immediately.
Well, I'm sure
They
it's
tried. They
honestly
tried to get on
probably
Trump
all
for
of
it.
them.
Yeah.
Well, you get my point. Like,
Yeah.
if it was the people that they wanted to prosecute, it would have been out. But these are clearly people that they want to protect. There's a reason that it hasn't came out yet.
That's why they went
What
after
happened
Trump
to
for it.
Giusley? Where's she at?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, where's she at?
She went to prison and got put on suicide watch, I believe.
Is she?
Probably witness protection, honestly.
Yeah, someone tried to kill her like her first week in prison.
I wouldn't doubt if Hillary sent him.
Yeah, or just a decent human being who
Yeah,
doesn't like
if
pedophiles.
I'm in there, I'm just,
That's the thing you don't want to be in prison as a pedophile. Is
but-
like all criminals are bad, but at least some of them have the standard of going, you go after kids, you touch kids, you're dead.
I'd much rather keep the Epstein and Maxwell. I'd rather keep those two pedophiles alive for long enough to figure out who the other pedophiles are. But that's why I think
Well,
that
the thing is, we have flight logs. We know who was going in and out of those islands. The issue is nobody seemed interested in following up on that. Tom Hanks was on those logs, and then mysteriously went over to Greece around the time that Jeffrey Epstein was arrested,
because he
and
knew.
became a citizen of Greece. Guess what? You can't do with Greek citizens. You can't extradite them.
Yep.
So that's a little weird. The fact that people like Justin Roiland, the guy who created Rick and Morty, he's on that list. No one went and talked to him about it. There's plenty of people. Bill Gates, Bill Clinton.
I think Will Smith was on that list too.
Wouldn't surprise me. All these people on the list who are celebrities, business people, who have positions of influence.
On that list.
People of influence and of power were on that list. But who did they go after? Donald Trump, because he was in a picture with Epstein once.
And he took his plane from New York to Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Exactly.
yeah. It was, he did him a favor because there was something wrong with Trump's plane and they were at the same airport at the same time. And he was like, hey,
Exactly.
here.
But that's
Like, what?
That's who they go after. That's who they try to get in prison for and call a pedophile, even though there's no evidence that he ever went to the island because he's not in the black books. But all the people who were on the black books that are now pretty much publicly available, none of them have faced any scrutiny from either the FBI, the CIA, from any of the red media, let's say.
I can't promise a lot, but I'll promise people listening to this and y'all too this. When we find that book, I promise you, they're all going to burn. Every single one of them. We're going to set every single one of them to where they deserve to go.
Except for Tom Hanks, because
I don't care.
we can't.
No, I mean, we will handle business. Because
that will be the final use of the CIA.
You come over and you try and defend pedophiles. That is the last straw. And you get in our way, get in God's way. Because we got God on our side. I'm not afraid. If I die going out fighting pedophiles, great. I'm doing exactly what God told me to do. As long as I listen, as long as I don't end up in some, like, I don't want to be in the belly of the whale. I don't want to be the one that was disobedient. I don't want to be the one that is a pain in God's side just because I want to be selfish. I want to be the one that says, use me. Because I'm tired of this crap. I do not want Braxton to have to grow up in a world where, hey, you know what? You could get molested if you go to Walmart. You could get stolen. You could get arrested because you have a gun at your house. You could get arrested because of your political views. I don't want to deal with that. And I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it is that I need to sacrifice to get to that point to make these people pay for this. And I don't care if they pay for it on this planet or not. I'm not worried about what happens to them here. I just want to get them to hell already, where they deserve to be.
Frankly, where we all deserve to be, but...
Okay,
yeah.
Well, we all deserve it, but by God's glory, us three and some others on this planet are saved. But there's a reason that the Bible says the path is straight and narrow. There's not going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be going to heaven.
Well, our God is a God of mercy and grace, but he is also
a just God.
A just God, exactly. This is a conversation I had with Zach earlier. I've recently watched the Dahmer show, which it's okay, to be honest, but the final episode brought up an interesting idea, which was it revolves around Dahmer getting baptized and supposedly finding God, ironically enough from a John Wayne Gacy interview, but whatever. But the idea of God being able to forgive someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? A guy who a gay man who killed multiple people and ate them. God, the idea that God is able to forgive someone like that and accept him into heaven, but still executes his justice using another believer who is in the prison. That prisoner was also a hardcore Bible believer, and prayed to God, asking him for guidance, leading him to believe that God was telling him to kill him and execute justice for everything he's done. But it only happened after Dahmer was baptized, which makes me... I don't know if it's like an accurate depiction of what exactly happened, but let's go with that idea of Dahmer should have been executed for what he did, frankly. And he was put on trial and only given consecutive life sentences in prison. His life was extended longer than it should have been. And then in prison, he supposedly finds God, but for this example, he finds God and is forgiven because he's repentant. but justice still must be done, so he's killed. Like, we serve a God that is simultaneously gracious and merciful, but justice will come to you.
See, I know God said that vengeance is His,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know if God would be like, "Yo, kill this person because they deserve it." Like, now, don't get me wrong. God sends people into war. God helps you do things, but that's one of those things where we'll never figure out the real answer because we weren't there.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, man. Even if, like, okay, let me ask you this: Hitler. Let's say Hitler, before he was caught, asked God to come into his life, forgive him for his sins, yada yada yada. How does that go?
Yeah.
Because that's one of those. This is why I try not to get so far into some things, because that's, in my mind, with all the Bible talks about the Jewish people, about those being His people, and you keep going on, and then
Revelation 2:9.
you got a guy who literally has just mass killed millions of people. Is that something that is how does, because I know God sees all sin as equal, but that's a lot of crap, man. Like, that is, I don't feel like that's sin. I feel like that's intent to become the devil. I feel like that is blasphemous almost, when you continuously just rail and rail and rail, and it's
Well,
like,
execution was something that God would enact as punishment for sin. The wages of sin are death, and the only time grace is like past is when you're not executed for a sin. So that's pretty much like where it's at is.
My point that I'm trying to make, I don't think that it's, in theory, I don't think it's possible for people like Hitler to have a chance to reconcile. I think that that's very...
Oh, like people who are too far gone.
Yes, I feel like there's because God said there's things you can't come back from. There's blasphemy, and I feel like that borderline's blasphemy because you're playing God at that point. I mean, when you execute that many people, that's not a death. That is insanity.
You can think about it maybe this way: is we're all slaves to sin and slaves to self, but I think once you fully give in and become slaves to Satan and fully do his will, whether you name him or not. I mean, you talk about the people who are in power right now. So many of them are serving Satan, willfully or not, but it's to fully consume themselves within their own sin and just reject anything holy. Because there are people who don't believe in God who generally try to do good things, and those are the people who can still be reached because there's some conviction within them, and they haven't fully given themselves over to Satan. They might be indulgent in themselves and in sin, but a lot of humans are.
I talked to my dad about that, something similar. Joe Rogan is one of the smartest guys you'll meet. The only thing that I don't agree with Joe Rogan on that's, I guess, major is he doesn't believe in God. But now that he's in Texas, he's exposed himself to a lot of Christianity, and he's realizing, you know what? I align pretty well with what this is. And people like that, people that think that way, those, like what you said, those are the people that can be reached. Those are the people that we need to focus on. The people who are the pedophiles that are shipping kids around the world, I don't care if you go to heaven. I don't want you there. I don't, because there's a difference between sinning and doing the work of the devil. They are people. I'm not trying to save someone who's a Satanist or a satanic person. I'm trying to destroy you because you are evil, and that is what we're supposed to do, is destroy evil. I am not going to sit here and waste my time with someone who is working for my opposition when I could be helping someone who is literally lost and confused and thinks he's on the brink of becoming a Christian, in my mind. And I think that's a lot of people in this country. There are a lot of people that they just weren't raised in church because their parents never brought them to church. It's not their fault that they're not a Christian. It is to some degree if they've been exposed to it, but I mean, if I wasn't raised to go to church, if I wasn't raised to be a Christian, I wouldn't be saying the things that I'm saying. And it's because God has helped us out so much from a very young age. We understand how it works, and these people don't. And it's scary. They feel like they've missed the boat. They feel like they've offended God. They feel like they're too far gone. those are the people that we need to reach. We don't need to reach the people who are the root of the issue. That's just my 2 cents.
Yep.
Well, on that note, this has
Well,
been Alt.tistic. Oh,
not
you have
to
something?
not to change the mood too much, but we got an update on the Mayweather video.
Yeah,
It is
year
old.
old. Yeah, it's a year old.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
Huh.
irrelevant.
Well, that sucks.
So we retract every statement we said about Floyd Mayweather.
Oh,
in
so that was
moment.
about
He
the
cannot read.
that was about the vaccine.
Probably. then.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's still probably a good thing,
Yeah.
but
Right. It's just
yeah, we can just cut that part out.
No,
That's
we won't
funny.
cut it out. This is we're real. We genuine. And on that note, this has been Alt.tistic because we've gone about 5 minutes overtime at this point, and we got to end it at some time because I got evening church I gotta go attend and work, and homework that is due at midnight. So we will wrap it up here. This has been Alt.tistic, the most retarded social political show on the internet. Don't forget to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening or watching us on: YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating on the podcast apps. I've been your host, Garrett Inman. This has been my co-host, Davey, over there, and my producer, Zach.
Yes.
I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I'm ready to get this over with. So stay retarded. We love you all. Have a good night.
love y'all. Peace.